So you're getting what you get. That's who the guy is, and I like him. I've grown to like him. If you get arrested by an ICE agent, you have no such right. They're wearing a mask. They don't have to tell you shit. That's a problem. That's a problem on our city streets, right? Because you could also pretend to be an ICE agent.
Right. When even Trump fan Joe Rogan starts squirming because of the disgusting tactics of the ICE agents roaming our streets, you know it's bad for Trump.
There's two things that are insane. One is the targeting of migrant workers, not cartel members, not gang members, not drug dealers, just construction workers showing up in construction sites and raiding them, gardeners.
Yeah.
Like, really?
When Joe Rogan starts calling ICE the Gestapo and says how there is something wrong about the fact that we can't see the faces of ICE agents or ask them their badges, you know this is bad. Joe Rogan, who is apparently willing to endorse Trump despite all the horrible things Trump had said and done before. Now, one of the things that Joe Rogan said, which was quite interesting, was that we don't have a right to ask their badge or their name. So that's not true. Just because they're not willing to show their face or tell us their badge numbers doesn't mean we don't have that right. Now, we keep calling ICE law enforcement, but it's very interesting because, as we know, immigration enforcement is a matter of enforcing civil law. It's very rare for it to actually be a criminal offense to violate our immigration laws. But yet somehow they're roaming our streets with guns and AK-47s as if they are truly law enforcement. Now, the reason why Joe Rogan and others are getting alarmed about ICE is because of the tactics they're taking, especially in Minneapolis right now. Now, as we know, they murdered the woman Renee Good. And after the fact, they have had even more ICE agents roaming the streets. MeidasTouch is doing live stream showing what they are doing, and clip after clip is showing the brutality, frankly, of what they are doing and the unconstitutional stopping and searching they are doing of people. Now, here's the thing. According to a recent study, the more Americans who are seeing in real time these clips, the more they are turning against Trump and these tactics. Evidently, even people who normally don't follow politics, maybe those people who didn't realize even what Trump had said before, are watching these clips. These clips are getting through. When these clips get through, the study shows that people change their mind about ICE. So just to make sure these clips are getting through, I'm going to show you just one of the probably 1,000 clips I can show, but one recent and very depraved clip of what they just did to a woman just recently. Take a look.
Go that way. Hey, back the fuck up. Sidewalk. Force is not law. Force is not law. You are not following the law. Just make you feel strong. You're a man. This is your duty. Why don't you help that woman? Help that woman. Why don't you help someone? All you do is hurt. All you do is hurt. fucking gonna drive down the street! Fucking where is the law? Where is it? Bro, pull up the way! Let her go!
Trump is frankly just using ICE instead of the National Guard. The Supreme Court ordered him to remove the National Guard troops from Chicago, and he did so everywhere else. They said it was basically unconstitutional that he had those troops there, at least for now. So instead, he's sending in ICE instead. And so thankfully, Minnesota is suing, saying this is an unlawful invasion. And this should go up to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court should back Minnesota, because obviously this is a pretext. He's obviously substituting one armed force for another armed force. Now let's get into the killing of Renee Good. I have followed shooting trials, police shootings for many years. I followed the Derek Chauvin trial. I followed the Kim Porter trial, the one who used a gun instead of a taser. I followed true crime trials for many years. And I have never seen a police shooting this casual. I mean, he literally didn't stop filming with a camera in one hand. It's very hard to convince a jury that you both were so worried that you were going to be getting killed, but yet still remained videotaping. Also, usually once you get to actual killing, a lot of time has passed. You can clearly see tensions escalate. Sometimes even they de-escalate for one moment or two. This escalated so quickly. And it was actually Renee Good who tried to de-escalate it. You can see her demeanor is friendly. You can see her saying, "I'm not mad, dude." And for the theories circulating where somehow people are saying that perhaps he's justified in the first shot, but not the second and third. Here's the thing. This is not how jurors work. If a defendant gets on the stand and lies to the jury half of the time, a jury doesn't say, well, you know, those statements that I think might be true, those I'm going to believe, but the statements that are proved to be false, I'm going to disregard. No, they disregard the entire testimony. His second and third shot was clearly on the side of the car. Plus, he calls her a fucking bitch afterwards. Those both show that it wasn't a matter of being afraid, but that he was angry at her. Because a jury has to go into the mind of the shooter. Was it reasonable for him or her to believe they were in imminent harm? And they take the entire context. They could look at the seconds before. They could look at the seconds after. Clearly, the shootings of the second and third he wasn't in imminent harm. It showed his mindset with him cursing at her. So the jury doesn't parse through and say, well, I think essentially he's lying to us about the first. I mean, he's telling us the truth about the first, but not the second and third. They're like, no. Once you get on the stand, as he would have to talk about being a reasonable belief, or he doesn't have to get on the stand, but his defense attorney would basically put that theory that all three shots were a matter of him reasonably believing. When the second and third are so clearly not about imminent harm, the jury decides that they're just lying about the whole thing. Which is why the federal government is trying so hard not to put him on the stand, because this would clearly get a conviction. So let's get that arrest warrant out there. Let's bring him in no matter where he is. Let's extradite him from another state. We do that all the time. Let him stand trial just like anybody else who would kill somebody in broad daylight.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to add the MeidasTouch podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts for new updates every single day.